Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for coming for this class, which is about observation and opportunity discovery, which is part of the MSc and the PhD of the Inspiration Economy program. We stopped last time about what is external observations. We covered how external observation can make a differentiation in our journey for discovering opportunities. And today we're going to cover with you the internal observation and their role in discovering opportunities. So the most important thing for internal observations is that we should look for the underutilized assets or capitals within the community. So for example, we should have questions about, does the community have talents or knowledge or skills or data or approaches or natural or physical facilities or expertise that isn't being fully leveraged? This is the question that will help you to discover lots of things within the community that may be underutilized or unexplored or hidden or even disregarded. And then we should ask how we can produce from it services or produce from it assets that help the community to thrive or to develop further. Maybe sometimes we should focus on the inefficiency, which means that we observe where the internal processes are slow, whether it is costly, it's costing the community, or it is frustrating, or sometimes we should think about where are the pain points within the community and how we can solve specific, actually, issues that will have a return on the product or on the services of the community or on the assets of the community in general, or it's in social capital, in collaboration, having harmony, and how it can be used for wider market. Okay, now these things will help a lot in solving problems. Sometimes we should think about whether the employees or the people within the community, their ideas or their chunk works projects are utilized. For example, you observe what projects these people are passionate about in their spare time, and or they have the skills, or they have the habit, or they have the norm. And then which is the next big opportunity that might be hiding inside the community that have a plain sight or within its team. The second thing about the internal observation is can be personal, or it can be community-based, or it can be team strength. For example, if the community have unique skill combinations, some communities will have unique skill combinations that will help them to, for example, blend their skills to bring outstanding product or outstanding services. And therefore, we need to observe and understand the biology, or for example, the psychology of the people who's working on a certain product, or who's living in a certain style. And then we spot opportunities at the intersection of these fields. Sometimes also we should see the passion, the level of the passion or the interest. For example, we should think about, certain, what is the team are generally curious about. What is their curiosity? What is moving their curiosity in a different way? And then we should think about passion fuel persistence and keep knowledge in a niche area that can reveal unmet needs that others miss. And then, of course, we should see the past success patterns. Should analyze your, for example, the community previous successes. What patterns the community observe about the type of problems, and then how we can solve it in a unique way. Now, the other thing for internal observation can be from a network and about partnership. So strengthening ties is part of the things that we should observe, and how what are the level of the observation in the community network, and what are the most fruitful, let's say, a part of the network that can be capitalized on, and how they can be deepened to create joint ventures or collaborative opportunities. The third thing would be about weak ties and new connections. Often breakthrough opportunities come from loose acquaintances or new connections who provide access to different information and words. It should help also to observe where these bridges can be built. Now, the other thing of internal observation can be on partner capabilities. For example, to observe the strength of the community partners and the suppliers, and whether the community can bundle these offerings or create a new solution for a shared customer base. Therefore, observing internal and external opportunities can help us to build curiosity in different levels. The first curiosity can come from visualizing and observing the community itself, and then deeply observing internally, externally, and then absorbing the levels within the community. And the third curiosity will start from after absorbing how we apply these observation and reality, and then doing analysis and evaluation. And the sixth thing is about creating and reflecting. So all these actually all these community-based observation, internal and external ones, can help us to bring better opportunities. Now, when we absorb, it means we put more intention so that we bring outcomes in a better way. So the problem of socio-economic problem should help to bring better opportunity solutions. So we should think about how curiosity should be defined. For example, what are the type of observations we are collecting that will help us to tackle, for example, opportunity one, and what type of inspiration intention we have. And then we focus on why these observation has been repeated. Take the issue, for example, of poverty. If we see poverty and we see it as a type of a socioeconomic problem, let's say that comes from because of poor let's say condition, or poor education, or poor let's say again connection or social assets, or non-utilization of social assets, different when you see poverty as, for example, due to political issue and so on. So this is the example of how we observe opportunities from multidisciplinary, again, thinking. So once we observe it as a complex, observe something as a complex issue, we can start to observe internally, externally, what we need to focus on, and then we start to explore for opportunities, and step by step. These steps will take us to identify the opportunities, and then evaluate and build the different relationships between the opportunities. We should also identify the practices within a certain opportunity. We study the tension between the current and future identity, And then we start to do learning through immersion within the industry. And then we see that that the opportunity is recognized through social participation, and how it can be recognized through social participation. And then we start to create an engagement in external relationship networks. So then we need to, so we'll repeat again, we need to identify the practices within the community we are observing, and then we start to study the tension between the current and future identity, and then we should learn from the environment around, and then we should see the opportunities, recognition, and the social participation till we start to engage external relationships with the opportunity to get the outcome best. So when we actually start to link the opportunities together, we start to see the type of livelihood of assets. So how the community can have the human capital connected to the social capital, how it can be capitalized onto the natural capital, and then how it's linked to the physical capital, and then how it can be linked to the financial capital. This is the curiosity of observation. The curious observation not only see one capital at a time, but it should think about the other capitals and how it can be connected. Now, it's very important that we think about how we exploit opportunities, because through exploiting opportunities, we are going to reach to the level of the aspiration economic currency. And this currency actually comes after we observe a community's challenge. For example, lack of education. A community's challenge cannot come directly. It should come through stages. Or when we observe a hidden asset, okay, within the community. For example, we see that the community have many retired people or retired teachers, and they have unused community buildings. So this is an opportunity to start a private sector, for example, schools or private schools or community-based schools. Then, for example, when we observe a potential solution, peer-to-peer learning. Okay, this is part of, again, eliminating literacy. And then, of course, when we start to link these observations to create new valuable initiatives. This is, for example, where the inspiration currency is done. So once we see that there is a lack of education in the city or the country or in the community, and we see that there is available assets, we start to link the assets. And this is what we were saying here. You've seen the human capital. You've seen there is actually physical capital within the community. It's about, again, buildings, schools, whatever not utilized, and so on. And you've seen the social capital. So you eliminate actually the role of the financial capital to the minimum. And this makes your story a successful story. We have written in Arabic a series of books about livelihood because we believe livelihood is very important to inspiration economy. So once you explore through observation, the level of acceptance of our livelihood will be higher. So it means that our meaning in seeking and acceptance will be higher, meaning making and acceptance will be higher, meaning recognition and acceptance will be higher. And this is why we say that, for example, that livelihood is that anything that is you and others around you benefit from. For example, again, the health is a livelihood, the time is a livelihood, the knowledge is livelihood, the money, the work position, and the righteous children, all is part of the livelihood that we can capitalize on. So it's our ability to create a differentiation in our life is part of the livelihood. Now, this is where we say a cycle of taking and giving. It is a cycle that is create for us the butterfly effect in our life. Now, there is the classical livelihood. Usually it is about the fame, the family, the money, the stable welfare, and so on. And there is what we call it the advanced livelihood, where we utilize your knowledge, your relationships, your social assets. And whereas this livelihood can create a type of major change in your community. And then there is the sustained livelihood, which is the legacy of what change society or stands till the day of judgment. This livelihood is not affected by death or circumstances. So it will sustain even after your death. And this is where it is beyond actually sustainable development goals. And here we remember, for example, Edison Mandela. He had created for himself a sustained livelihood where he created legacy that impacted the society still today because of his ideas and his persistence and so on. So ego blocks us from observing opportunities, the internal and external opportunities that come from these observation. And the ego blocks us also to see the reality around us. The awareness of the impulses around us can be blocked because of our ego. Therefore, we should think that if we want a good type of livelihood, we should think what we observe and what we expect, so that we avoid close-ended livelihood. While if we start to think in different way of what we expect and what we create, then we'll have open-ended livelihood. So it's not only about observation, but also about managing our expectation will help us to create a better livelihood. Livelihood can be designed then to raise our capacity versus the demands around us. It will enhance our capacity of seeing life. It will rearrange actually our capitals towards a new higher level of legacy. And it can manage also our expectations and perception to be towards legacy and not towards materialistic understanding. I think I'll stop here and continue with you next time. Thank you very much.